So general organic chemistry, GOC, general organic chemistry is very, very important for NEET and JEE examination. 2 to 3 questions are coming. 2 to 3 questions are coming for JEE and NEET as well as in CET examination from general organic chemistry. Okay, general organic chemistry means it is very vast. We have to learn so many fundamentals of organic chemistry. So many fundamentals of organic chemistry. And here this basic concepts and techniques of organic chemistry mainly we will discuss about that structural representation of organic compounds and IUPAC nomenclature of organic compounds and isomerism of organic compounds, and reaction intermediates, reaction mechanism. So while discussing about the reaction mechanism, we will discuss about the types of reagents and types of reaction intermediates and electron displacement effects in organic compounds. Those all we need to discuss in the reaction mechanism of organic chemistry, general organic chemistry. Next, in this chapter only we will discuss about that types of organic reactions. We will discuss, and purification methods or techniques. Of organic compounds. What are the important purification methods or techniques are present for organic compounds that we will discuss, and identification tests for organic compound functional groups. So what are the important identification tests for organic compounds containing elements identification tests? Okay, as well as identification tests for functional groups also we will discuss. So these are some important sub concepts related to some basic concepts and techniques of organic chemistry. Is also nothing but general organic chemistry, GOC. G means general, O means organic, C means chemistry. Organic chemistry, general organic chemistry is very, very important. So based on this GOC, general organic chemistry, if you are understanding very clear, means no doubt at all, that much vigorously if you are studying this chapter, then we can solve that, we can understanding the second year organic chemistry very easily. In second PUC organic chemistry becomes very easy and we will score more marks total in organic chemistry, because the chemistry contains mainly 3 parts. One is inorganic chemistry, the second one is physical chemistry, the third one is organic chemistry. Okay, while you are going for JEE examination, you are going for NEET examination, you are going for CET examination, whatever it may be, mostly the major part of the questions are coming from more compared to that physical and inorganic and organic questions are coming more. After that physical chemistry, later inorganic chemistry. This is the way of the asking questions in NEET and JEE and CET examination. That's why organic chemistry is very, very important. Do you want to crack NEET and JEE examination as well as CET examination or any other competitive examination related to PUC syllabus? You must have more idea about organic chemistry, because organic chemistry is very, very important. In that organic chemistry, for learning and solving the applications of more in organic chemistry, mostly we have to learn general organic chemistry. So the general organic chemistry, if you are studied good, if you are understood good, if you are learned very good, then we can solve most of the organic chemistry questions. Okay students, let's see the introduction related to some basic concepts and techniques of general organic chemistry. Okay, first, what is organic chemistry, man? Organic chemistry is nothing but one branch of chemistry only. It mainly deals means studying, deals with the study of carbon compounds. Carbon compounds means carbon and hydrogen. At least one carbon and one hydrogen containing compounds are called as organic compounds. Okay, organic compounds. Organic chemistry is nothing but it is the branch of chemistry deals with the study of carbon compounds, means carbon and hydrogen containing compounds. Generally, the simplest organic compounds are carbon and hydrogen containing compounds are known as hydrocarbons. Known as hydrocarbons. It's very, very important. The simplest organic compounds means at least one carbon and remaining hydrogens. Carbon valence is tetravalency. Carbon always forms 4 bonds. Whenever one carbon atom is combined with 4 hydrogen atoms, simply to forms methane. Simply to forms methane. CH4. Okay, methane. CH4. Okay, that is the simplest hydrocarbon. Simplest hydrocarbon. So the simplest organic compounds are hydrocarbons. Simplest organic compounds are hydrocarbons. Now, earlier means before synthesis of urea. Before synthesis of urea, the earlier vital force theory was present. Vital force theory. What he said, according to this theory, vital force theory, organic compounds can be synthesized from the plants and animals only. We cannot synthesize in artificially in laboratory techniques or in laboratory methods like they are thinking, the scientists are thinking that theory is known as vital force theory. But that theory was wrong. It is failed. When that theory will be failed, dear students, the theory, vital force theory becomes failed when the whole are synthesized urea in laboratory, artificially synthesized first laboratory synthesized organic compound is urea by the polar scientist. That's why, so it is possible only carbon and hydrogen containing compounds we can synthesize in laboratory without using any plants and animals. Okay, so that will be first done by Holar scientist. What he synthesized, their students first synthesized organic compound in laboratory methods. It is urea. The urea is synthesized from ammonium cyanate. NH4CnO is called as ammonium cyanate. That ammonium cyanate upon heating and rearranged to gives urea. NH2C double bond O NH2. Okay, that is the first organic compound synthesized in laboratory is urea. That this urea is synthesized from ammonium cyanate but not carbon and hydrogen compounds. That's why the second synthesized organic compound or first synthesized organic compound. Second or first synthesized organic compound from carbon and hydrogen elements or from its elements. From its elements means carbon elements means carbon and hydrogen by using carbon and hydrogen atoms. First synthesized organic compound in laboratory is acetic acid by Kolbe. The second synthesized organic compound from its elements means carbon and hydrogen. By using carbon and hydrogen elements, the second synthesized organic compound is methane. Okay, that will be done by Barthollet. So sequence, first synthesized organic compound they asked means the answer is urea. Second synthesized organic compound they asked means acetic acid. Third synthesized organic compound they asked means methane. So 1, 2, 3 only remember. Now the same question they are asking in another way. First synthesized organic compound from its elements, from carbon and hydrogen elements is acetic acid, not urea. Okay. The second synthesized organic compound from its elements, that is methane by Barthollet. Okay students, anybody have doubt? Up to here? Now, why we'll get some doubts? Carbon compounds or organic compounds. How many organic compounds are present here, students? Either 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 or 10 or 100 or 1000 organic compounds are present. Like we can't define. Millions of organic compounds are present. Millions of organic compounds means carbon and hydrogen containing compounds are, how many are present? Millions of organic compounds are present. Why this millions of organic compounds are present means because of the versatile nature of carbon. Means why the carbon forms large number of organic compounds. or what are the reasons for the formation of millions of organic compounds or versatile nature of organic compounds? That is nothing but the first one is the important reason is carbon has highest catenation ability. What is the meaning for catenation ability, dear students? The carbon is bonded with another carbon atom and forms a long chain. Carbon is linked with another carbon, that another carbon is linked with another carbon like a long chain hydrocarbons or organic compound will form, and they forms cyclic compounds also, ring compounds. Long chain means open chain compounds as well as ring compounds. The ability of carbon to forms long chain or ring compounds is known as catenation ability. Carbon has highest catenation ability is present. So that's why so many large number of organic compounds are forming. And another thing is carbon valence is 4. Tetravalence of carbon, and carbon can able to form multiple bonds. In between carbon and carbon atoms, single bonds is possible, and double bonds are possible, and triple bonds are possible. Multiple bonds. So the tendency of formation of multiple bonds of carbon and isomerism of organic compounds of carbon. Isomerism. What is the meaning for isomerism, dear students? The compounds which are having same molecular formula but different bonding connectivities are present or different arrangements are present. Those are called isomers. Those are called isomers, and the phenomenon is known as isomerism. So the organic compounds are existing in isomerism. So what are the different types of isomerisms are present? Structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. So that both are very very important, and further classes we will discuss about this isomerism concept. What are the different types of isomerism concepts and types of isomers and examples and everything from this isomerism concept. Compulsory one question, one or two questions guarantee for NEET and JEE examination. Compulsory, because that isomerism concept will repeat the total organic chemistry. Isomerism means, for example, listen dear students. Just I am giving one small example. C4H10. 4 carbon atoms and 10 hydrogen atoms are present. The C4H10 we can arrange CH3. CH3 bond, CH2 bond, CH2 bond, CH3 is known as N-butane. Without any breaking, that all carbon atoms are connected with one carbon to another carbon, forms a long chain. Now, this same C4, 4 carbons and 10 hydrogen atoms containing compound, we can also exist like this. What is this name? Isobutane or 2-methyl propane. Here the longest carbon chain is 3 carbons, but the second carbon or middle carbon has one branch is present, but both the molecular formulas are same. Okay, different bonding connectivity is present. That's why these two are called isomers. It belongs to structural isomerism. So different types of isomerism concept is present that we will discuss there only. Yes, ma'am. Molecular formula is same, mixture. Isomerism means same molecular formula but different bonding connectivities or different arrangements. Different arrangements of bonded atoms known as isomers, and that phenomenon is known as isomerism. So the isomerism of organic compounds. So due to these reasons, carbon forms so many large number of organic compounds because of its highest catenation ability, and the second one is can able to form tetravalency and tendency to form multiple bonds and isomerism of organic compounds of carbon. Okay, Muskan, understood, ma? Clear, dear students? Okay, let's listen. Next important is structure and bonding of carbon. Structure and bonding of carbon in organic compounds. We know very well, for everyone we know, carbon is can able to form four bonds. How that four bonds are forming and what type of hybridization, that hybridization calculations and everything we will discuss in chemical bonding, don't worry about that. First listen and try to understand. Carbon, the atomic number that is equal to 6. It's a ground state electronic configuration. Ground state electronic configuration, helium, 2s2, 2p2 means 2px1, 2py1, 2pz0 means is nothing but 2s2, 2p2. Helium 2s2, 2p2 only. But the 2p means one electron is present in px, another electron is present in py, there is no electrons in pz. So in ground state, carbon contains 2 unpaired electrons only. But generally carbon always need to form 4 bonds. Means in order to formation of 4 bonds means how many unpaired electrons are required? 4 unpaired electrons are required. So the always all carbon's bonding connectivity or tetravalence of carbon is due to the its first excited state electronic configuration. First excited state electronic configuration means one 2s electron it jumps to the 2p. Now 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. Okay, so like now how many unpaired electrons are present? 4 unpaired electrons are present. 2s and 2px1, 2py1 and 2pz1. 4 unpaired electrons are present in its first excited state. So carbon valency is always 4 tetravalency. Okay, carbon can able to form multiple bonds. Multiple bonds means single bond will form and double bond will form and triple bond will form. Whenever carbon has always all single bonds are present, its hybridization is sp3. If double bond is present, hybridization is sp2. If triple bond is present, the hybridization is sp. Okay, carbon has 3 types of hybridizations are present. Carbon in its compounds it has 3 types of hybridizations present. Okay. For example, if the carbon is forms all single bonds, means one s orbital, one p orbital, sorry, one s orbital, three p orbitals, total four atomic orbitals. One s, three p to combine to gives four sp3 hybrid orbitals. So that is sp3 hybridization. One s and two p, sp2 hybridization. One s and one p, it is sp hybridization. The remaining p atomic orbitals forms pi bonds. Okay. So the first one is sp3. sp3 hybridization. So when the sp3 hybridization will form, dear students, carbon has four single bonds. Carbon has four single bonds. Then the carbon hybridization is sp3, like CH4. Like sp3 hybridization. Four single bonds are present, its hybridization is sp3 tetrahedral. Tetrahedral structure. And bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Carbon has four single bonds, means four sigma bonds. Okay. Already in lower classes, I think you may studied covalent bonds are two types, sigma bonds and pi bonds. So how that sigma bonds are forming, how the pi bonds are forming, everything we'll discuss in chemical bonding chapter. But just you remember, whenever carbon has all single bonds or single bond is present, we have to consider as a sigma bond. If four single bonds or four sigma bonds are present around the carbon, then the carbon hybridization is sp3. sp3 hybridization, the shape of that carbon is arranged around the group C is tetrahedral structure. Bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Okay, let's see in which sp3 hybridization percentage of S 25, percentage of P is equal to 75. See, 1s 3p. Total how many? 4. Out of 4, 1s. 4 parts, 1 part belongs to how much? 25%. The remaining 3p orbitals part how much? 75%. Okay? Let's see the second one. Okay, carbon has one double bond, plus two single bonds. See, one double bond means the double bond is formed by the one sigma and one pi bond. And remaining two single bonds means two sigma bonds. Total how many? One pi plus three sigma. If a carbon atom has one double bond is present, at least one double bond. One double bond is present. Its hybridization of that carbon is sp2. Like one double bond, two single bonds. Hybridization is sp2. The geometry is planar. Bond angle is 120 degrees. Bond angle is 120 degrees. And sp2 means 1s 2p. Total how many? 3. Out of 3, one part is 33.33. The remaining 2 parts is 66.66. So in which Percentage of S equal to 33.33%. And percentage of P is equals to 66.66. Okay, so this is about sp2 hybridization of carbon. Carbon has three types of hybridizations are present because in the outermost shell contains one s, three p orbitals are present. One s, three p orbitals total involving in hybridization forms sp3. One s, two p only. Then it is nothing but how that one s, two p involve one double bond and two single bonds. Okay. Then it is called sp2 hybridization. The third one is sp hybridization. sp hybridization is nothing but carbon has one triple bond. One triple bond plus one single bond. One triple bond plus one single bond are two double bonds. Two double bonds means two pi bonds, two sigma bonds. Brackets, two pi and two sigma bonds are present. Then we will get sp hybridization. Yes, ma percentage I will tell you. Let's see, sp means one triple bond, one single bond, or two double bonds. Like this, it is the geometry is linear geometry. Okay, bond angle is 180 degrees. Bond angle is 180 degrees. Let's see sp. Total how many? One s plus one p. Nothing but 2. Total 2. Out of 2, 1 s means 1 by 2 is equal to how much, man? 50%. Means 50% S and 50% P. Ishwari, how to find out percentage of S and P? Means SP 1 plus 1 total 2 parts. Out of 2 parts, 1 part how much? 50%. That's why 50% S, 50% P. Let's see SP3. SP3 means 1S plus 3P, total 4 parts. The 4 parts, percentage of S is equal to 1 by 4 into 100, 25%. Percentage of P is equal to 3 by 4 into 100, 75%. So this is the way for calculation of percentage of S and percentage of P. Calculations in hybrid orbitals or in hybridization. In sp3 hybridization, S is 25, P 75. In sp2, S is 33.33 and P is 66.66. In sp, S is 50% and P is 50%. Okay? So this is about bonding nature of carbon in organic compounds. So generally in organic compounds, carbon has formed by the multiple bonds. That is all single bonds, all one double bonds or triple bonds. If all are single bonds are present around the carbon, then the carbon hybridization is sp3. If at least one double bond and remaining two single bonds are present surrounded by the carbon, its hybridization is sp2. One triple bond or two double bonds surrounded by the carbon, then its hybridization is sp hybridization. Its hybridization is a sp hybridization. So regarding that, structure I said, bond angles also I gave, and percentage of S, percentage of P values also we discussed. Okay students, now very important point. If not, percentage of S character, percentage of S increases electronegativity of carbon increases. So the electronegativity order of carbon is equal to sp carbon has more electronegative than sp2 and then sp3 carbon. Is it or not? Percentage of S character increases, means in sp3 25, sp2 33.33, in sp 50%.